Shabbat Shalom. What an amazing evening. Distinguished elected officials, my colleagues from Israel, Minister Dermer, Ambassador Leiter, you are used to it, to be among friends in Washington, in Jerusalem, but for me to be in a room full of 1,000 Zionists, devoted Zionists, it's exciting. It's exciting. Thank you, RJC, for putting this amazing event together tonight. My friends, 2 years ago, the Jewish people faced the darkest day in our modern history. Today, we stand at a historic moment for our region. Israel has achieved what many thought impossible. All of our living hostages are home. The remains of 17 fallen hostages have been recovered and given the dignity of a proper burial. Hamas has finally been forced to accept what it rejected from the start, to return the hostages and to disarm. This moment was not born of luck. It was the result of a unique combination of conviction and courage. It came at a heavy cost, the sacrifice of our soldiers who fought like lions to defend our people. We owe a great deal of thanks to Prime Minister Netanyahu, to President Donald Trump and his administration, whose vision laid the path from the Abraham Accords to the 20-point plan. No American president has done more to advance Israel's security or to expand cooperation in our region. My friend, I'm being honest with you, and you can ask my wife about it. When I finished my first term as Israel's ambassador to the UN, I did not expect to return. 5 years in that place is more than enough. But when the Prime Minister, you know that one, when he calls you and asks you to serve, you have to tell him, yes. You answer. And I'll admit, I didn't think the UN could get more hostile toward Israel, but somehow they managed. Since October 7th, the UN Security Council has not passed a single resolution condemning Hamas for its massacre. Not even one. They found time for dozens of meetings about so-called genocide and so-called starvation, yet not one word about the hostages. But we refused to stay silent. We brought the voices of former hostages, Mi Hashem, Noah Argamani, Eli Sharabi, and many more, into the halls of the UN, so the world would hear the unimaginable cruelty they endured. Week after week, we reminded the world who started this war and that it cannot end until every hostage is home. Then there is the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres. He hasn't visited Israel since October 7th. Let's think about that for a minute. The UN was established 80 years ago, after the Holocaust, after the Second World War, to prevent the atrocities we saw that day. And after the worst slaughter of our people since the Holocaust, you would expect the Secretary General to take one of his private jets and visit the communities of Sderot, Kfar Aza, Nir Oz. So when I arrived to the UN, I confronted him. I had a personal relationship with him. My family has hosted him for many, many Shabbat dinners. And I told him, I asked him, why have you not come to Israel? It's basic. You are the Secretary General of the United Nations. You know what he told me? He told me, Danny, the Prime Minister never sent me a formal invitation. That is shameful. Shameful. We also face legal warfare. The efforts of the ICJ and the ICC to constrain Israel's right to defend itself. Next week, after we will finish this beautiful gathering, I will go back to the UN, and we're going to have a debate on Monday about the question whether Israel should cooperate with UNRWA. I will remind them, my colleagues, that this agency, it was corrupted by Hamas as a breeding ground for terror before October 7th, whose employees carried out the massacre and whose ties to terror remain unbroken to this day. I will remind them of Jonathan Samerano, Zichrono Levracha, murdered and kidnapped by an UNRWA employee and driven into Gaza in a UN vehicle. Let me say it clearly tonight, and maybe you can tell them that before Monday. No advisory opinion of the ICJ, no report, no resolution will change our minds. Israel is done with UNRWA. These are a few examples of what I call diplomatic terrorism, fighting not only terrorists with weapons, but those in suits who twist international law against Israel in the halls of the UN and in The Hague. They try to delegitimize us, to isolate us and silence us. But we are strong. We are determined to win this fight. Despite the pressure, the bias, the pain and sacrifice, we can see positive change in the region. Lebanon is in a better place with a new government. Syria is somewhat safer for all of us. We have restored deterrence on multiple fronts, from Gaza to Yemen to Iran, so we can be proud of our soldiers, our sons and daughters, who showed the world that the days when Jews were massacred and there was no response are over. Not anymore. We have proved that today we are capable of defending ourselves and securing our future. That is exactly what we have done in the past 24 months and what we will continue to do. We are most grateful to the US and to our allies for standing with us. But we keep stressing to them that our struggle is not over. 11 fallen hostages remain in Hamas captivity. We will not forget them. They will not be left behind. Dear friends, I am optimistic about our future because in our region, strength earns respect. And we have more than proven our capabilities. I have had Arab ambassadors whisper to me about our operations in Lebanon and Iran. One of them came to me in the Security Council. He told me, Danny, you know, inshallah, one day we will have peace. I want to come to Tel Aviv and to meet the guy or the girl who designed the pager operation. I told him, you better hurry up, because some of them are moving to the private sector. So tell your leader not to be shy. And I can tell you that I'm optimistic about many, many countries. And I don't know, whether you call them the Abraham Accords or the Abraham Accords, but we have to admit it. They opened the door. Now it's time to widen it. The UAE has been very constructive during this war. Others, moderate Arab and Muslim nations, are signaling readiness. I feel it, because when I walk, I can tell if they walk to the next side of the room or they come to speak with me. And I feel it. I'm optimistic about it. Across the region, quiet discussions about cooperation that once seemed impossible are becoming reality. Once we finish the job in Gaza, bring our fallen hostages, and ensure Hamas's disarmament, it will be time to start build again. I want to thank the RJC. You are fighting the good fight every day. You are making sure our voices are heard loud and clear in Congress, on campuses, and I see so many young leaders here today. Yeah. You are on the front lines, defending Israel and defending the US. So for me, from Israel and from the Jewish people, thank you. Kol hakavod to all of you. The history books will remember October 7th as a day of tragedy, but it will also remember what the Jewish people did in the hours, months, and years that followed. How our nation stood united, resilient, and strong. Despite pressure from the entire world, we remain strong, and we will ensure that no one is left behind. I want to thank you for your commitment and partnership. Together, we will keep playing offense. Together, we will prevail. Thank you very much, and Shabbat Shalom.